All right. So our today's session will be on giving feedback. And today, all of you will have a chance already start giving feedback. Yeah. So we'll have peer feedback for Olga, and Olga will also get feedback from us. So we will try to do it holistically. That means that we will look at it from different perspectives. Why? Yeah, we should give feedback when and how. So we'll look at the way how deliver feedback. And in this sense, we will look at degree of directness. So let's get started. First of all, I would like you to talk together and answer these questions.
Can I start with the first one? Okay, so the first one is, why is feedback important? In my opinion, it plays a pivotal role in language teaching, because you always need a learner's opinion on how you are teaching and what are you teaching. What do you think?
Michael, you mean feedback for the lesson from learners?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that feedback is I have to do. No, Olga.
Mm-hmm. So talk together. Who can give feedback?
What?
Think a little bit. Who can give feedback?
Both.
All the
Where?
teacher can give
Where?
Give feedback, and student also can give feedback.
For example, on materials, right? You prepared, they may be too difficult, too easy, so, or maybe not visible, right? Like just a part of it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, good.
Yes, I as I understand, both can give feedback, right? But what we are talking about now?
Now we
What sort?
why is
Any?
it? Why is feedback important? Any feedback, of course.
Okay. To reach aims.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Oksana, you speak.
Oh, sorry, Olga, continue.
I think feedback is very important for improving both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You can improve, like, teacher, your teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give feedback to your student, your student can understand you better, your tasks, and for improving, feedback is important, both sides.
I think it's important because in this way you can find out your weak and strong what characteristics, trait of character, yeah, for teaching. And in this way, I think that you have the opportunity to improve, as Olga said, your teaching, or maybe planning the lesson and so on next time, for example. That's it.
Have you discussed all questions?
No. The key purpose. Key purpose, I think. For example, when I planned the lesson, I couldn't notice all my weaknesses, for example, and other people can give when giving feedback, they give right words to mention it for me, for example. What do you think?
Well, of course, it can be a white lie, but most of the times, yeah.
As far as I know, it should be given firstly in the positive way, then in the negative way, and again in the positive.
This is sort of a sandwich technique you're talking, right?
Right.
Might be an option, right?
But when I was at the university, we have only one technique. First positive things, then negative, and that's it.
So, all right, let's wrap up, okay? Feedback is important, yeah? Up to moment we feel it. It can be given to and by different parties. And we sort of not sure up to now what are the key purposes about it, but we will look at it in a minute and tell exactly how should we give it. So for now, you can see 4 words and the purposes of feedback. First, individually, look at these purposes and fill in the words.
To motivate learners, to encourage learner autonomy.
Yes, autonomy.
Understand what their problems are and how they can improve.
All right. Have you
think.
Have you mentioned all of them? So when you were talking.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you talked about motivation, Olga?
Where is motivation?
To motivate, learners.
Oh, yeah, to motivate learners, to encourage learner autonomy.
Autonomy. I don't know this word.
Autonomy. So when you want your student to work individually more, right? So you are sort of supporting him and letting him work more and more on his own. So because his confidence is growing, right? He or she is getting more confident and ready to work on his own. And your feedback, guys, is really helpful in this sense. So these are 2 questions for you. Yeah, look at them. And again, in your small group, discuss these questions. Think and share.
I think that the most relevant is to encourage learner autonomy, because they have to,
Good morning, Julia.
good morning, because they have to see their own weaknesses and try to correct them.
So just a second, let me orient Julia. We are looking at the questions. They are here. Which of the purposes of feedback, so the purposes like to motivate learners, to encourage learners' autonomy, to help learners understand what their problems are and how they can improve, like which of these is more relevant for your context? Like when you teach, yeah, so what do you give the feedback for? And the second question is, are there other purposes that are more relevant, again, in your context? Yeah, and Oksana has just mentioned that she uses feedback to develop learners' autonomy, right? More. So Michael, Olga, so.
I reckon that to encourage learners' autonomy will be the best one here. Well, I have no problems with motivation during my classes, and yeah, maybe the last one.
You lucky, Michael. You lucky. I have great problems with motivations. Most of my students just don't want to learn English at all. I have to motivate them every lesson. You have to, because you need it in your future. Yeah.
So, Olga, your feedback is mostly motivating, yeah? Motivational. Anyone who helps learners understand their problems by giving feedback?
As for me, I'd like to add that I give my feedbacks to my learners just to help them to understand their problems in studying and to encourage them.
Both, yeah? All right. Any other purposes in your context?
No.
Not for now. All right.
Not for now, yeah, not for now.
In this case, we will look at different purposes. Yeah? And actually, I would like you to identify. So you will see the sample, yeah, of different types of feedback. This one is oral. Look, well done. This is much better. And you need to discuss, you need to talk together. Think about the purpose. Well, what is the purpose? Like praising the learner and telling her she's doing well, encouragement, right? And where is the focus? Why am I doing it? Yeah, so my why here. Progress, language, maybe ideas, yeah? So, all right. So one more time. Do you need to focus on purposes and so why you're giving feedback when you look at these examples?
Yes.
Do you need to talk to each other?
Right.
Right. Do you need to discuss point after point?
Yeah.
And what have I used now? What micro teaching technique have I used now in giving instructions?
ICQs.
Thank you, Michael. Yes.
Yeah.
So start. This one. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And discuss the focuses and purposes. First 1 minute to look through on your own.
I know the third. It's praising. What an amazing story.
What is it, Olga?
I know the third answer on the third question written. What an amazing story. It's praising. No?
Yes. Okay, and
Yeah,
what is the purpose? Michael, sorry.
no, I was just saying it's like nominating a student. Well, the purpose is to motivate student to work further. At the same pace. Yeah, and that's it.
Yes, and I think that, for example, for the first and for the second feedback, it is for encouraging learners autonomy to find their mistakes individually, or, for example, in other learners' questions, for example, peer feedback. So 3 and 4 just positive feedback to value students' knowledge or progress. And what do you think? Focus is, what is it? Focus on grammar, for example, mistakes or what? Yeah.
Yeah, could be language. Yeah. For example, look in your third example, you've used adjectives very well. Yeah. Is it focus language here?
Language.
Language. So definitely, you're not focusing on communicative achievement, right? Or not on organization, not on fluency, but so here we have like used adjective, this part of speech, yeah, the target language, right? So look at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Is it similar or different? What's the purpose of this feedback?
So they are different, for sure.
In what way, Julia?
So I would like to give comments to number 1. So I'm not sure, but I think that the first feedback, the purpose of the first feedback is to encourage students to do self-correction, something like that. Yeah. If you are not agree, just correct me, please.
No, I totally agree. So you don't hand out them the right answer just right away. You elicit maybe you give them like a second chance.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with Julia. And I think that self-correction is not only in the first feedback, but in the third one. Oh, no, in the second one and in the fifth. Self-correction and maybe peer correction. What do you think?
Okay, I agree with you, Oksana.
Because
Yeah,
number 3 is a result of the progress of students' progress, and it is already done, and the student wouldn't change anything here.
All right, I heard some nice ideas, and I'm happy that you've started focusing on why. Yeah, you started thinking why. So we give feedback. So just a second. So the first one, Julia, yeah, mentioned that. Let's have a look. Look again, right? And the focus is on language and ideas. Language, this is spelling. And there are more than 2 people. So some ideas, right? So mentioned. In the second case, focus, mostly language in this case. Yeah, so Olga told us that phrasing is used here, and she's not wrong. A lot of things here: ideas, language, attitude, and progress, right? In this sense, progress and encouragement, language, progress. So here B is a grade, yeah, you probably noticed. Giving a grade and informing the learner of what problem was with her work and telling exactly what she needs to do and how. This one is encouragement and also informing that they did not behave appropriately. So you see, the purpose might be even behavior, yeah, not only language, not ideas, but sometimes, especially when you're teaching young learners, yeah, that might be the case. Yeah. So look at these photos, yeah. In the next couple of minutes, we will look at the characteristics of effective feedback. How do you think? In what situation the feedback would be mostly productive, effective?
I suppose number 1, A picture.
Why, Oksana?
Because he looks like, he doesn't look like a negative person,
Right.
and he is not going to punish you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he's going to tell you only right things, your weaknesses, and
Right.
strong.
And moreover, so what is he holding?
Yeah, he's suggesting a mug of coffee or tea or water.
Yeah, it might be helpful, yeah. So also,
Yes, of course. He's friendly to the partner he's going to speak to.
right. If you compare photo B and C, what's different? What's the difference? Can you spot?
They're not smiling.
Is it the difference or similarity?
It's a difference from A.
Yes, exactly. This is from
Picture A.
And if we talk about these two, B and C together, what's the difference between these photos?
It looks like the intense situation.
It is. Yeah.
The same women.
Yes.
Well, I think that the main thing is body language. So on the picture B, we can see two women who are not ready to get agreement to listen to each other. Probably they're offended or have some just
Yeah,
so
right.
they are not agree with each other and they don't want to get agreement at all. Just as for me.
Yeah, think a little bit. In situation B, there is still something positive for giving feedback.
So I think that they are not ready to get any feedbacks. They are too offended, as for me.
Probably these ladies are. Yeah, what I'm trying to show you that so the position, right? They're sitting next to each other, so not in front of. Yeah, according to the studies research, so it's more efficient to give feedback not sitting in front of each other, but so sitting sort of nearby. Yeah, but it might be impossible to do so teaching online. Yeah, but in case you're giving feedback someone, so just and that might be not that positive here. You may sit next to or sort of like this way. That also might be helpful, right? But of course, giving feedback and getting feedback might be intimidating, as Julia mentioned, yeah, and not if people are ready for this situation. And that's the reason. So the atmosphere should be warm and it should be so like maybe a cup of coffee or something else. So yeah, positive intentions. There might be a lot of other things, but now we will going to look at the key features of giving feedback. So I stop sharing, and each of you will receive one small text from me, and you need to read it in a minute and sum it up, the main idea. Like each of you will have a key feature of feedback, and then you share in a group, all right? So let me send. Olga, you love to be the first one, right? I know.
No, not now.
Not now.
I just woke up.
Okay, fantastic.
I don't
She will run away.
Now.
So this one from Oksana.
Olga, you have already woke up. I have not.
So Oksana, you look at number 1. Mike, Julia, you look at number 2. So one more time.
Okay.
Number Julia,
where in chat, Zoom, or Telegram?
Zoom chat. Yeah. So next one.
It's loading.
It's loading. So fine. That's the reason you're not that talking.
Olga, please, one more time. What we have to do?
Just a second. I'm sending. So one more time. So you will receive a small text. So Oksana will be number 1, text number 1, Julia, text number 2, Olga, text number 3, and Michael, text number 4. You need to read it and say what's the main idea. Each of you will have one key feature of giving feedback. Okay? You need to tell your peers what is this feature. Have you received the message?
Well, I have received 2 messages.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, your message is number 2. Yeah. So yeah. Message number 1, task 2.
That's right.
Right. Olga, have you found your text?
I'm not open it yet. I just received and I can't see it for now.
Okay.
Can download and
I'm sharing with you. So Olga and Michael, I'm sharing the screen. So Olga, number 3, Michael, number 4. Mhm.
Mhm.
Just needs the main idea, right? So whose turn? Who was number 1?
It's me.
Okay, so Oksana, tell us about your feature, your key feature.
It is using not more than one feedback during the lesson. Yeah.
So it's called about learning task, yeah? That you need to
Yes.
give feedback not on something you just it came to your mind, yeah, but exactly on the task you gave to
On
you.
the task, right. Mm-hmm.
It should has a clear focus, like we discussed, yeah, focused. And you sort of agree with your student what the focus is. And you may give like similar tasks, yeah, and check it in
Yes.
progression. So how successful it is tackled. Really nice. So number 2, Julia.
Well, I will start. As I have understood, the main idea of the text number 2 is successful learning. And so learners should have a chance to give a clear explanation, clear feedback, so that to achieve their goals in studying. That is the main idea of the text number 2. Effective feedback. So learners should have effective feedback.
It should be clear, very clear for the learner, right? Because the learner has a goal, yeah? So to improve something.
To help learners.
Right? So let's move on to third one, Olga. What is the focus of this key feature?
the focus, I think, on improving learner in what he or she already know, what he can do better.
What does it mean appropriately?
In what he already know.
Appropriately challenging.
Appropriately challenging. It's difficult. I think it is difficult, challenging.
If it is challenging, it should be difficult. But if it is appropriately, it should be manageably different. Like he or she.
Manageable, difficult. Yes.
Yeah, so that means that it is like possible to do, right? Yeah, it is said here. It is possible. Improvement possible, right? So not easy, but improvement possible, right? So that is, again, so clear focus, yeah, clear goals. And the last one, Michael.
Well, the fourth is all about involvement of the learner. We even have a scheme here that shows us that the learner first, he or she receives the feedback. Well, then actively engages with the feedback. So cooperating with it and thinking how he or she can improve.
Right.
Then dwells on modifying their knowledge, using different maybe resources. So here is learner's autonomy. Then improves their language production based on modifying, well, just simply saying the previous stage. And then again, receives feedback.
All right. What you're saying that this is a process, right? So once you received your feedback, it's not the final stage, right? When you teach the class and you will be given a feedback, so what should you do with it? You need to engage, yeah? So be actually engaged with your feedback. So sort of look at what you know, yeah, modify it and improve. And in the next class of your class you're going to teach, you should already include the features of the feedback and modify it. So right, we are successfully finished this section. So I give you like a minute for bathroom or whatever. So and in a minute back for practical activities. You're already woken up so, and ready to be more chatty and discuss a lot of things with me. Okay, so see you in a minute.
Okay.